So two very big capitals fell in the last video, the Scottish capital and the Norwegian capital. Which I think the ultimate winner there has to be Queen Victoria of the British Empire. Because, yeah, I mean, Denmark and Scotland might have gotten Oslo, but in turn, they both, that team lost a capital at the same time. So I definitely think that the Spanish-British alliance is growing. I don't think that they are one of the best teams. I don't think score-wise, well, actually score-wise, they're now in 5th place. Pretty good for them, just behind Team GG. I thought that Team GG would continue to lose in terms of score, some points, but I guess not. Peace deal between the Greeks, the Goths, and the Huns. That's about time. Denmark and the Italian Peninsula. Pretty much I should just call Denmark Scandinavia. And bam, the Vandals took... Okay, so the end of the First World War has pretty much just ended right now. Sweden never took the city over, which is huge. I can't believe they didn't do that. We've got a peace deal between the Netherlands, Scotland, British. Yeah, so it's just a big, big peace deal. So the First World War is over by 1937. And we need to see who decides to... when does the next few conflicts begin? I'm sure not for very long. I think that there won't be much time that passes. We're going to see Songhai and the Vandals start to move back their troops this way. This is going to be interesting, though. If Scandinavia falls, then once again, another city going to the British-Spanish alliance. That will be a pretty big victory for them. I think they're going to get stopped there. I don't think they're going to take over the Pope's capital or Rome. Both of those cities are coastal, though, which would make things kind of interesting. Let's go to the next turn. Do we see anything happening from Egypt? Egypt, very, very strong, but it seems like they have pretty much retreated back to their own home. Egypt, a really strong empire, and at any point, I think they could wipe out most of the Middle Eastern civs, especially Babylon. But, Arabia will be tough, and the Sumer will be somewhat tough. But the Hittites are growing in strength, and the Armenians are certainly growing with strength. The longer you give Armenia to build with all these Hunnic cities, all these new Hunnic cities, the harder it will be to take them over. So Egypt might face a firewall as they continue to head up north. Bam! Sardinia has fallen to the Spanish. Another very big pickup, I would say, from Spain and the British alliance. We'll see if Spain ever decides to either take over more French cities or go down south and look towards the Moors. That's where they're going to have a big impact. Still a very divided area in the middle, in the heart of Europe. I think that whatever power grows fast enough could really use that to their advantage, really sort of eat up a lot of very big populated cities. We've got Munich at 20 population, Zurich. It's actually not. I always pronounce Zurich wrong. It's not Zurich, Zurich. I don't know. But Bern is okay. Bern, I think that Bern is right. I think I'm pronouncing Bern right. Pronouncing. Yeah, anyways, Switzerland is a pretty big population empire. Obviously, France is too, which would be the first to fall if I think they decide to invade continental Europe. That is Spain and England, or Britain, I should say. So no big wars yet. I know I need to check over the info addicts, but there's just been so many conflicts going on that I just want to see the results. I don't like checking over the info addicts and then just a bunch of cities fall, because then it's like, oh man, those info addicts are probably drastically different now. Okay, Greece and Rome have just peaced out. Greece, the Goths, Rome, and the Pope. I'm thinking the Italian states are more than likely feeling a little bit pressured by the offensive move made here by Isabella. And the Pope is going to attempt to take back Sardinia. They're going to travel across the Mediterranean. They're sending over a longswordsman, which is obviously pretty outdated, but a few riflemen. And we'll see if more... Wow, I mean, the Spanish have a fleet here. They have a pretty good fleet. They could definitely attack the Pope's capital and probably have success. I mean, they'd have to fight through a lot of units, but the thing about Rome and the Pope is they don't really have a fleet anymore. Most of it has been destroyed. Oh, here's a lot of the Spanish ships, and they're going to get decimated right here by themselves, all divided like that. Ooh, Pope going all in to take back their city. They're going all in. I think what would be next, I think the Vandals will probably attack Rome and the Pope soon. If they continue to lose troops, which, having all these units out there embarked means that they probably will. I think the Pope and the Romans are going to look really, really weak soon in terms of, military-wise. Ooh. Another war broke out. So that is Egypt and Russia clearly working together, which is such an evil alliance right there, because they're both very strong. Greeks and the Goths versus Poland. There's no border there. We also have Russia and Prussia. Russia-Prussia war. We're going to see something like that again. Portugal's pieced out with Novgorod and Russia. The interesting one is pretty much the attack that I think... Well, actually, no, there's no border there. The Russians and the Novgorodians, is that what it is? I'm not sure. People from Novgorod. There's no border with Armenia, and there's no border with the Netherlands. So most of these wars actually don't matter at all. Those are useless wars. Bam, Poland, Sweden, Lithuania, and Prussia have all pieced out. Now, Poland's still at war with Bohemia, though. But now they're going to have to continue to defend Prussia, who refuses to build units. Prussia, that's the funniest thing, is they're probably the most aggressive civ. Probably modded civ, too. They're a very, very good military civ. I don't know how their flavors are. It's just so strange to see them in this role. They've got some really good unique ability and unique units to take over the world, but they have not been building units. I don't know if that's a problem with their flavors. I mean, this is the second time we've seen Prussia do really bad. The last time I played with Prussia, I think I mentioned, was in the Best Mods AI-only battle. They didn't do really bad. I mean, at least they had a military in that one, but I don't know. It's still weird to see. And Spain is going to come in and reinforce. This is going to be a big battle here in Scandinavia, and we might really even see Spain, Iberia, start to attack the Italian peninsula. We might see our first... I think it's possible if Spain continues to pump out units like this. I think the Vandals will ultimately have to get involved, though. They can't let this fall to Spain. And there's going to be a bigger and bigger rivalry between Songhai, the Vandals, and Spain and Britain. Okay, so Assyria and Milan. So Babylon will once again go after Assyria. They won't win that. They're not going to do anything there. Russia, Novgorod, nothing there. Russia, Novgorod, too far away from both Assyria and Milan. Wow, look at these citadels. That's just messed up, Egypt. That is just messed up. Some of the citadel placement is just so wrong. Babylon and Denmark have pieced out. So they're going to be fine there. Norway has been destroyed once again. So there's a lot of distant wars going on, but nothing, no front wars. No big wars like that. So this is going to be a really, really interesting matchup if it continues. Even if there's a peace deal here, it doesn't really matter. Look, there is uranium. This is a big city to have because there's 4 uranium here. I'm sure that Spain probably already had access to uranium, more than likely. Or at least the British did. Well, I don't see anything here in Iberia. Remember, they do have Iceland. Greece. That's Greece and the Hittites, pretty much. That war right there is Greece versus the Hittites. This could be very, very, very big for the Hittites. We've been waiting for this war for a while, actually. Most of these 3 Greek cities are not reinforced. Remember, their war with Italy kind of forced, I think, Alexander to bring most of his reinforcements off of the coast of Sparta. Not anymore. That is going to be possibly a really big war for the Hittites. He needs this because France is on the verge of falling at any moment. The France will not make it to the end of this campaign. I don't think they will. And it really just depends on what Spain and the British decide to do with them. But the Hittites desperately need to get as much power as possible before their ally, the French, fall in Western Europe. So they need this. They need these 3 cities. They also need this to defend against Egypt. This might actually be very bad because if Egypt decides to be aggressive here, they could easily attack Istanbul while the Hittites have their pants down. With their units, if they lose a lot of units, if they don't make this war very efficient, this might be very bad. Now they need to bring this naval fleet from the Black Sea, cross Constantinople, and start to attack Rhodes. Thing is, I think they'd be distracted by Athens and Corinth. I think Corinth. Is that how you pronounce that one? I think something like that. So Spain is going to hold on to Sardinia. I almost call it Scandinavia every single time. This is a great jumping off point to attack the Pope capital, but he's not going to do that. Boom! There is a big war, Austria Hungary. Thing is, though, they waited a little bit longer than they should have. They should have declared this war while Novgorod was still at war with the Goths. Novgorod will probably declare war on the Goths probably very soon, I'd say. I think that they would probably declare war soon as that peace treaty is up. I don't think the peace treaty is up yet. There's no way it's been 10 turns already, but I don't know. Unfortunately, the Goths, or unfortunately for Austria and Hungary, they already have a lot of reinforcements here. So France going after Denmark and Scotland. No big impact there. That's a distant war. So there's a new kind of push after the Team GG. I'll probably try to enact something different in the next proposal. I don't think the international games has been finished, right? I don't think so. All right, so they're off to a pretty good start. Already got the city down to 50%. They do need to watch Constantinople, though. But luckily, the Goths will be pretty distracted, at least in the west, fighting Hungary and Austria. Actually, it looks like Hungary has more troops than Austria at the moment. I don't know if that's true, but it looks like it. A lot of troops here protecting Budapest. Austria, Hungary, no border with Denmark, so they're fine there. Denmark is they still need to recover. They are still recovering. I don't think that Denmark is going to be getting into any sort of victorious wars anytime soon. Yeah, so this is the problem we're seeing with Spain. Spain is too focused on attacking Rome, or they're too distracted by all these cities. They're going to need either the help of Milan from the north or something. As well as having Corsica here is a big problem for attacking the Pope's capital off the coast. That limits the amount of sea tiles, unless you have like artillery weapons that land, but they're also going after Rome, and they're just going after too many things. So Spain is going to get, I think, they're going to get most of their navy decimated in the Mediterranean. They're going to have to peace out. Portugal really rebuilding now that they're by themselves in this team. They still have 4 cities, but they are growing in strength. And Spain still has a lot of power here in Iberia. Just most of their fleet, I think, is going to get destroyed. Unless they can get the Vandals involved, then I don't think they're going to have much success attacking Italy just yet. Maybe in the future, but not yet. For sure, not yet. Okay, let's see what's happening with the Greeks and the Goths. So that city will fall. Khufu is about to fall too. Wow, they're going to take that city over very fast. So boom, boom. Then they're going to go after Rhodes. And they're not even using the fleet in the Black Sea, which is incredible. There's going to be a very big onslaught here, which the Goths still have a technology advantage over Hungary. These great war infantry will have a much bigger combat strength than the riflemen that they're battling it out against in the west. Here's the thing, though. Whatever Austria decides to attack, that is what's going to be tough. And if they focus on attacking Argos, they'll have a much more success. Think about the Greeks and the Goths. They have a lot of very closely compacted cities together. That's an issue. It's going to be a lot harder to take cities over because you're going to get bombarded by 2 cities, not just one, as well as maybe 2 range attacks from, garrisoned units. Ooh, maybe Spain is starting to get the hang of it. Maybe they're focusing in on the right cities. Oh, Austria Hungary, come on, man. Why do you declare these wars? You have no idea what you're doing. And Bavaria will be going after Poland, but that doesn't matter. The Huns don't matter. They're too distant. Can Novgorod finally do this? Can they finally take out the Prussians? That is the big question that everyone is waiting for. Can they finally do it? Bam! 2 cities have fallen to the Hittites. And we're still seeing, it's been such a slow decline. It's almost like, at least the way I'm described to it, historically, the Ottoman Empire. And it's funny because the Ottoman Empire kind of existed where the Greeks were in this series, where it was like from the way I was described the Ottoman Empire, they were like a collapsing empire. There's like a term for it, but they were collapsing for like centuries. Like they were just on the slow decline every single decade, and just slowly getting weaker and weaker. And I guess they didn't really go through the Industrial Revolution as they should have. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. I'm not saying that Greece didn't go through the Industrial Revolution, but I'm saying that they have just been slowly collapsing, slowly just losing territory. And the Goths have done a pretty good job at kind of making small comebacks here and there, but Greece has been kind of the problem. Now, Greece is actually the bigger problem. At first, the Goths were the bigger problem. Can Spain take the city over? It's going to be tough because Spain is running out of units. They've got that rifleman and this melee boat. Yeah, that is going to be close, but that still would be a pretty big pickup for Spain. Every single landing that they make off northern Africa. Here's the problem, though. If Spain and Songhai, or Spain and Songhai and the Vandals end up going to war, obviously the North African team is going to have a much bigger advantage. Novgorod's now going to attack this this Danish Finland city, pretty much. Obviously, yeah, the North African team is going to have a much bigger advantage because Spain would be by himself. Queen Victoria is way up here. This is why they needed to destroy the French Empire. They needed to have some sort of access point where Queen Victoria could move through these lands and come and reinforce. Thing is, though, if that war were to break out, it'd be mainly a naval war. So, you know what? I don't know if that would even make that much of a difference. Queen Victoria would need to probably destroy most of these coastal Portuguese cities to make a big impact and help out Spain. But either way, Spain needs to get lucky. Isabella needs to get lucky. Argos is under attack. The Goths seem to have trouble with Hungary once again, and Prussia will finally fall, it looks like. This city will more likely fall after Novgorod sends enough troops over there. They already have a fleet, a pretty good fleet in the Baltic Sea. So that might be useful for them, for that siege. What else do we see? Oh, the Hittites are going to go after Kiev. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. And now the siege of Rhodes will begin. Although they need to be careful, Greece still has a fleet here. Egypt's staying very quiet, which is weird. The Netherlands and Armenia versus Austria Hungary. Nothing, that doesn't matter. So Austria Hungary just declared war on everybody. And they kind of ruined their chances, I think, of having a significant advantage. They could have really grown in the Balkan region, but they didn't do that. Boom! Prussia's finally been taken over by Novgorod. It's about time. This city will probably fall to Novgorod as well very soon. The Netherlands, the Hittites now versus Armenia, probably the two biggest Middle Eastern powers that started off in the Middle East, besides Egypt, now going to go to war. That will certainly slow down their progress, but they'll still take over Rhodes. Yeah, they'll still take over Rhodes, and then let's talk about the other side of it: Netherlands versus France. France is really rebuilt by quite a bit, and they're both ahead in technology. They both have artillery weapons and great war infantry. But this might be a good opportunity for Queen Victoria to watch and see what happens. France might be able to make a big comeback if they are able to take over Brussels. That could have a significant impact. And boom, this city was not taken. Well, that's too bad, but even it was still not the biggest city in the world. It wasn't really going to provide that much. We have the Netherlands, Armenia versus Sweden and Lithuania. That doesn't mean anything. And Novgorod continued to press forward further and further into Europe. This is going to be interesting. Anyways, guys, I'm going to stop right there. Poland versus Spain and the British. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.